Isaiah 54:4 says, "The Lord God has given me the tongue of disciples, that I may know how to sustain the weary one with a word. He awakens me morning by morning, and he awakens my ear to listen as a disciple." If you're joining us in reading through this 90-day reading plan, today's reading is Isaiah 50:51, and I encourage you to read that passage. How is it that we can do what God wants us to do while our bodies are still functioning upon the earth? The answer is simple. We're to be disciples. We're to emulate Him, and we're to look like Him. What is a natural tendency for us to search for who we are? If you turn on the TV, you'll soon see an advertisement about a company or companies who will be glad to run your DNA and tell you from what part of the world your family really comes. In these ads, they attempt to have you question who you are by telling stories of people who believe they're one nationality, where in reality they were something totally different. But as believers, we should already know who we are. The problem is that either we don't believe it, or if we do believe it, we don't apply it to our lives so that we can become more like Christ. John 1:12-13 teaches us that when we become believers, we have God's DNA inside of us, and we are created anew. Because of that, we should be seeking out ways to become more like Him. This means developing habits that will bring us closer to Him. Just because it's a habit doesn't mean it has to be habitual or mindless. I was listening to a devotion on fasting the other day. This person made a very keen observation. Our bodies will help us to remember that it is God who provides for us. She mentioned doing a 17-hour fast. Simply that means that from the time you go to sleep until dinner the next day, you reduce your food intake so that it's minimal. Your body will then tell you when it needs attention. Then when you eat, you can focus on God and His provision for you. It becomes much more meaningful because you recognize your need. Without that fast, eating is habitual rather than glorifying God.